screen presentation with a PDF. Of course, we're in design and we're going to actually output to a PDF, but what we want to do is have a print version that's suitable for printing anyway, as well as a screen version. If it was purely screen, I'd just say use 1920 by 1080, which is referred to as 1080, which is that 16 by 9 format, great for screen. But what we're going to do is have something that's suitable for print as well, but still make it look good on screen. So how are we going to do that? Well, what I want you to do is just click on presets and just got more presets there. Let's see, we're going to use print because we don't want a custom size, we want just A4 size. So here we are. But of course the other thing we want is not vertical page, but we want a page which is going to be landscape, basically a horizontal page. Okay, now the other thing too is we're going to want it to start on page 1. Or I don't want the facing pages either, so I'll get rid of that because it's going to be a single page, and I want a number of, let's say 10 pages, because we want to go to 2 digits, and I want to show you why. So start page 1 and pages 10, so make sure you get them around the right way, and great, we're good to go. So I'm going to go OK. So here's my 10 pages. Now what I want to do is create this template on the master page so everything follows through. So just make sure you double click on the master page here, so we're on that, and I'm going to go through and just create a really simple background border effect, and I'm going to do it with my simple basic shapes like the rectangle tool to start off with. Now I could have gone and created my margins a little bit better than I've got, but nonetheless this is going to be fine for putting this together. So I'm just going to click on this margin, standard margin, and just going to drag this square through. I'm just going to leave a little bit of space down there on the bottom, and you'll see why. And make sure I just bring that right in there to line it up. Now we can turn or use the rulers to measure things up, but I'm just eyeballing it just for the sake of putting this together reasonably quickly. So let's see, we want to fill it. I don't want the stroke color. So what you can do is you can do it from basically here to select on it, or just come up to properties, which should be on by default. So what you can do if you want to set things up, I'm just in my essentials. I might just reset essentials so you see exactly what the look is. So we've got our text frame, or not our text frame, our background image frame. I'm just going to click on fill here, and I just want to give it a shape, something to work with printing on the screen. Now what I want to do is maybe I can have this dark or light or whatever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on that color and just get that fill here because I wanted that sort of cyan blue type feel. Now I can sort of double click on that and I can slide the color down here, or I can even play with other colors from here. But nonetheless, I just want to stay with what I'm doing just for the sake of doing this. I'll just go OK. And I don't want those square corners, so I'm going to come up now to Object, and I'm going to come down to Corner Effects and just make it a little bit nicer, if you will. So I'm going to change that to sort of a curved corner. Please do any corner you want. And I can just click this, making sure that I've got preview on, just to push it through to say up to about 10, or you can actually just type it in there and return it or enter it on a PC. Nonetheless, that's fine. I also want another background here just to give it some life. White might not be the ideal one, so let's come back here, just outside the edge. Now make sure you get all of this, and you can go outside the edge, it doesn't matter when we're doing PDF as well, as long as it's all covered. And I'm going to give that a fill of black. So back to the fill here, and just to get that in place. Don't want it at the front, of course, so I'm going to go to Object, come down to Arrange, and just send to back. There you go, that's looking quite good. Now I do want some my text effect that's going to be in here for doing my automatic page numbering. And I can do anything with this, but I need to be on the master pages to do it as well, which we currently are. So we're on the master page there. So what I'm going to do is I need my properties now. So I'm going to go and just create a text effect here. Now seeing I've got this border selected, if I go into my type tool, I'll click my type tool there, and I go in here, you see you're going to start typing inside that. No, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to drag a little shape out here. I'm going to make it a reasonable size because I'm going to increase it in just a minute. And I'm just going to go AA. I'm just in lowercase at the moment. And I'm going to come up to my properties here, and let's see, just make it say 200. We want to make this really obvious. Might not be what you want to do, but just to show you. And return or enter if it's a PC. And did I make that too big? Doesn't matter, I'll just drag it out so until it fits. There it is. And I'm just going to get this in place where I want it to be. In fact, I want it to cross over both sides there. I might make it more visible. Now, you may not want to make your numbers as strong as what I'm doing it, but nonetheless, just go through here and I'm going to click on my color and just back to the pointer tool, and there we go. So I can just place that where I want it to be, maybe even a bit lower, just to fit that presentation. Perfect. Okay, happy with that. So I'm going to now highlight the text. You can double click once on pointer tool to establish select the text again, and this is where we go to type. We want to give it automatic page numbering. Remember, we're on a master page here, so you'll see something strange happening here. Insert special character, markers, current page number. Hello, where did this A come from? Now, of course, remember we did the double digits because we've got 10 pages. If you were going to have more than that, like into the hundreds of pages, then make sure you've got 3 digits. Nonetheless, I'm going to come back to my pages here, and I'm just going to click my pointer tool. And if I just scroll down, and in fact, I can't see any pages. Why? I'm on the master page. Let's just go and click on page 1. And as we scroll down, oh, look, it's page 1. And you'll see the numbers go all the way through here until it gets to page number 10 there. So you can do any sort of graphic that you want with your file as you're putting it together. But essentially, now we've got our master page here. So I'm just going to start building up my file, put a title in here, and get things together. Now, one thing that you may want to do is you might want to cover this for the front cover, or essentially you may not want your page number at all on here. So what you can do is you can play around by, if I should just bring this in a little bit so we can see what's happening here. With that page there, making sure you got that page selected, you can come along here and essentially you've got the little tools there that reflect what you want to do with your master pages. So just look for master pages where you want to apply something, or in this case, you want to override your master page icon. So let's say override master page elements here. So I'll click on this, and then I'm just going to delete this one. And if I just bring that back to the edge now, so we've done that, so it can fit the screen. We don't have any master pages on this one, but if I scroll down here, you see the others are still here. Okay, so it's still page 1 essentially, but we just maybe didn't want the numbering of that one because it's our cover artwork. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to file, I'm just going to place an object in here, and just as you would normally build up anything. So let's see, here's my graphic I'm putting in here. I'll just choose, I'm going to work with a transparent ping file just so that looks the way I want it to look, etc. And I'll plonk that in here and just click that out. Now it's a little bit big. What I've done here, if I had the background selected, so it's gone and filled that area up, and that might be exactly what I want to do. So I can just click in that selected area, or you can simply just click out the side there and just drag a shape, and then you can have it to fit any shape that you want it to be. So I just let that go, and that's more in line with what I wanted to put together. So I've got my master page there. I can put some title down there, and I might just do that just to get that going as well. So just making sure that it's not going inside a box. And I am on page 1 because we can see a page. Make sure you click each one. I'm just going to put just title. And maybe I better have a better font than that. And also change the color to something that's more suitable. I might go back to my yellow there, and let's see, just for my fonts, I'm just going to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to something like a Rockwell, just so it looks a little bit more effective and more punchy, which is a slab font. Just going to Rockwell, and just out of view there, I'm just going to go extra bold. Great, and just with that selected there, just going to make it a little bit bigger, just so it's in place there. Now we can also, if you want to work with this, we can just center it as well. So just center that, and of course just bring it in and line it up to get it as you want. So there is our work, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this. So it's saved, and well, it's saved when I give it a name, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this into a folder that I can easily access it from. So let's see, I'll go to the Kiwi car images there, and I'll call it present. And we're basically good to go. So our whole folder or presentation is built up. Now you may not want those page numbers. That's just something that you can put in there just if it helps you with tracking your presentation. You might using other graphics to show that as well. So remember, if you want to see how it actually looks, you can click down here and just look at preview mode, and that gives you a good way of just looking at it at this stage anyway. So there is the full present mode as well, but we don't have to worry about that. Just want to get that look and feel. Right, so with that saved, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to export it, or maybe better still, I can actually go through here and define my PDF settings. Now what I've got here is I've set some smaller versions up, and I've got a print version here. Now this is from another video just showing you how to do your job options, but I don't want it to be too big, but suitable to be printed as well, just in case it gets too big for the screen with lots of outputs. An iPad will work with around about 150, so that might be even a better option as well. But I'm going to stay with the 200 because I want this to be a good print version, but still be suitable to the screen. Okay, so we've got the file here, essentially I'm just going to come back and make sure I'm in my previous settings and just go to print output, and it should just come up. There it is. Right, so I'm saving that there, and it's going to be a PDF. So if I just click on save, what I want to do is really nothing I need to do, just save it as normal. We don't need any trim marks, of course, or worry about the optimization. This is going to be great. The only thing that I might want to do is just, if you can, just when you put it here, you can just go to, let's see, compression, just to check it. See, it's just 200 here. No marks and bleed, that's good. Output, anything else that I need to do? No, it's all fine. We don't want any security. Oh yes, but you might. So if you ever want to do something that's only for those who need to see it, that's where you can set up. And that's one big advantage of this tool as well. Anyway, just back to my general here. And I think we're good to go with that now. So I'm just going to go export. So basically it's just export as a PDF. We've done all the work we actually need to in InDesign now. So I'm just going to go and just minimize that. And what we're going to find here is there's my PDF version here. Now I'm going to open this into Acrobat. You can control click and make sure that you go open with Acrobat. I've got mine set as default, but you need Acrobat to be able to do this. So I'm going to open up Acrobat, and just opening up now, etc. So I'll just bring that more into view here. So within the file that I've got together here, what we want to do is just control a little bit about how we want this to be viewed. I actually want it to go to full screen mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go and click on properties. So when it opens by default, what we really want to see is here's the initial view, etc. You're going to see down here different ways of putting it together. What I want is to go into full screen mode. So it goes straight into my presentation mode. Now what you'll use is Command or Control L, and that'll take it to the full screen mode if you've just got haven't got this feature on. Now it will ask you before you go to this, but at least it makes it a little bit easier. So we've got that ticked. That was pretty easy to do. And as you can see, if I just go through these different pages, everything's lined up nicely. Now the other thing, because we want to make it this more screen-based format, is I'm just going to come back and just go to my preferences this time. So Acrobat Preferences. So you'll need to access them slightly differently on a PC. This is a Mac. Nonetheless, just going to the preferences at the moment, I'm just going to bring this in. And what we want to look at is full screen mode here. So with the full screen mode, what I've got is I want to click on this background which is going to match the background I've got. So if I click on this, you see you can actually sample any background color you've got and go and click on it. And actually maybe that wasn't quite so black, so you can actually match your color that way. And that's the background you're going to have, and it's going to create that nice seamless view, even though it might be a little bit squarer inside that screen format for a 16 by 9, it's still going to look much better as a presentation mode. So I can click off that, we've got that set there, and the other thing I'm going to do is, just before I go OK here, is we've also got things we can set up in here for transitions. So at the moment, by the way, there's also, we can have something that's looping if you're doing just a self-running display. So this is a good way to set that up as well. As I said, Acrobat really has a lot of great effects with it. So what we want to do is, there's a wipe setting here at the moment. So you can have no transition, or random, so it goes to all of them, or just one of these that might just add to that transition effect that is going to give it a little bit more sort of screen presence, or softer as it goes through each frame rather than just a jump. So essentially I just want a wipe on this one so it's nice and clean, and basically I'm just going to go OK, and that's done, etc. So what I'm going to do is, this might be because I've cropped my screen a little bit, when I just save this now, so I'll just go save, and I'm just going to close this. When I now go through and just double click on my image here, it will ask me if I want to go to full screen. I'm just going to go yes, and hopefully it's cropped off a little bit on your view, but essentially there it is. It's all set up as a full screen mode, cropped off because I've got a larger screen here, but I can use my arrow keys now and it will just go through those pages. And it's doing a lovely wipe effect, but you don't actually see it there because it's the same image, but it will wipe through the images on the screen. But essentially that's setting it up for a screen format. I've pushed the escape key now, and it's just gone back to just fitting on the screen there. So that's how you set up for your presentations. But of course you've got this great file that you can at any stage just go and file, print it. So you're going to get a good printout if you wanted to print your slides, so you've got those as you're presenting them on screen as well, or for anybody else for that same matter when they get your presentation file. So it works so well on all sorts of occasions. So thank you for watching.